Hey you!
Check your Wi-Fi connection right now. Working? Great. Now imagine the internet disappears. Suddenly, everywhere, for everyone in the world. No warning, no speech on Truth Social. Not for an hour, not for a day or a week. Forever. The cause doesn't matter anymore, but the fact is, the technology is dead. For good, and it's beyond resuscitation. In this video, we're going to show how the internet keeps everything together, from grocery trucks to hospital software, why your plumbing will betray you, and how your crypto wallet transitions into a crypt. If you remember the world before the World Wide Web, you might think a global digital blackout means a return to the golden age of the 50s or the romanticized chaos of the 80s. But if you're the same age as YouTube, and digital detox for you is 90 seconds of panic between battery at 1% and the moment you find a charger, stock up on sedatives. A lot of them. We don't do doomsday prep. We just read the fine print you skipped because there was a skip button. So, hour 0, the web just flatlined. What do 8 billion people do? Humanity does what it does best. It panics. The first few hours are basically a comedy. Millions of people are in a state of digital denial. You toggle airplane mode. You restart your router, you shake your phone as if a fresh batch of bytes might fall out of the charging port. You might even try to find a landline, thinking you're being retro and smart. But here's the surprise. Most modern home phones are VoIP. They run through your router. No internet, no dial tone. Only old-school copper landlines still keep a real signal without the internet, and those survive in roughly 1 out of 5 US households. At this point, people relax for a second. Fine, they think, I'll just call. Technically, they're right. Voice calls don't need the internet. Practically, they're wrong. By hour 5, the great choke begins. Cellular networks collapse under the weight of billions of panicked primates trying to call their moms to ask what's happening. The network has a capacity limit. When 5 billion people try to dial at once, the system doesn't break. It suffocates. And here's the kicker. Your smartphone is still ticking, showing you 3:47 p.m. like nothing's wrong. But it's guessing. Without network sync, that clock is drifting. Seconds today, minutes by next week. And when the battery dies and you reboot it, good luck. It might wake up thinking it's January 1st, 2000. By day 1, the digital detox is over. You go to the store and find a handwritten note, cash only. Welcome to the failure of just-in-time logistics. Cities don't have pantries, they have flows. No internet, the flow doesn't stop. It just loses its rhythm. Modern warehouses are precision machines. Workers carry scanners, Wi-Fi terminals that ask a server in Virginia, where does this box go? Without the web, that scanner is now a plastic brick. The warehouse is full of food, but nobody knows which pallet is baby formula and which is cat litter. Finding one item now takes 2 hours instead of 2 minutes. The system isn't closed, it's just choking on its own complexity. Here's the fun part. Every US truck has an ELD, an electronic logging device. It's federal law. Technically, the device works offline. It still logs the hours locally. But without the internet, it can't sync with the corporate mothership. Corporate lawyers panic. Their motto? No sync, no drive. The device functions, but the company won't let you move an inch without cloud verification. Even if you have legal hours, even if you're staring at the destination, you're stuck. Oh, and technically, drivers could switch to paper logs. But most don't remember how, and insurance companies don't trust paper. It's too easy to fake. So the law says you can, but reality says you're fucked. The few who risk it arrive at warehouse gates only to find 200 trucks idling, waiting for a guard with a clipboard to manually process paperwork. Your dispatcher? He's useless. He's staring at connection lost while the city starves. Manual logistics can feed a village. It cannot feed New York. The speed of doing it by hand is 1% of what's needed. That's a 72-hour fuse on a hunger bomb. Day 2, the pharmacy countdown. This is where it gets dark. Pharmacies run on automated cloud inventory and insurance verification. No net, no insulin, no heart meds, no restocking. By day 3, the shelves are empty. Not because the meds are gone, but because they're stuck in a warehouse maze. If you depend on a pill to stay alive, I have bad news for you. But even if you're healthy, you're still in trouble because your money just evaporated. How much cash do you have right now in your wallet? Look, ATMs are now just expensive street art because they can't talk to your balance. You rush to the bank, but they only keep 10% of your deposits in actual cash. By noon, they're handing out $100 limits per person and locking the doors. This is the moment your paranoid uncle, the one who stashes cash under his mattress and doesn't trust anything digital, becomes the smartest guy in the neighborhood. Remember, in this world, a stack of 1s and 5s is worth more than a gold bar you can't shave a piece off of to buy a gallon of gas. And if you think your crypto wallet is your plan B, think again. Without the ledger, your Bitcoin is just a series of inaccessible numbers. Your 2.5 Bitcoin won't buy you the grease on the pizza box. You're officially a digital billionaire in a world that only accepts crumpled 5s. And the cherry on top? Your brand new Tesla. It's a marvel of engineering until the app logs you out and there's no server to authorize your session. Without the cloud, your 6-figure smart car is just a very aerodynamic piece of lawn furniture. Clutching your Starlink terminal like it's a holy relic? Starlink is just a billion-dollar bridge to a digital cemetery. Sorry, Elon can't save you this time. On day 4, we deal with the crisis no one likes to talk about in history books, but every plumber understands perfectly: the sanitation collapse. In modern cities, most waste has to be pumped. Lift stations push it uphill because gravity is a lazy bitch. These pumps are automated. They run on local controllers, but they're monitored via the web. The internet isn't needed to move the waste. It's needed to tell a guy in a clean office that pump 4 is clogged with flushable wipes. Without that data, the system goes blind. When a lift station in a low-lying area fails, the waste just finds the nearest exit. Usually, it's the ground floor toilet of the most expensive apartment complex in your neighborhood. The brown tide is when your toilet becomes a geyser, erupting with everything your neighbor had for dinner 3 days ago. You're back in an era where cholera isn't a Victorian myth, it's a localized reality. But while you're busy fighting the filth in your living room, you'll realize something even more chilling. As the lights went out, the digital eyes of the state went dark too. By the end of week 2, Big Brother is officially blind. Facial recognition? Dead. Police databases? Gone. License plate readers? Just scrap metal. You spent years fighting for privacy? Now you are invisible to the law, but remember, so is the guy who is currently breaking down your fence for your generator. In conflict zones, the first thing they do is cut the web to isolate you. Isolation is the ultimate weapon. When your door gets kicked in at 3 a.m., there is no app for Save My Life. The law is now whatever caliber is in your hand. If all you're holding is a green smoothie and a sense of moral superiority, you're in trouble. And this is when your Insta-influencer status finally pays off. Everyone in the neighborhood knows exactly which apartment belongs to the guy who definitely has a hoard of almond milk and zero self-defense skills. Good luck with the diplomacy, thought leader. If you think I'm just painting a grim picture to scare you, look at the dry runs history has already given us. Canada, 2022. One glitch at Rogers Communications and 12 million people went dark. Not for a week, but for a day. People couldn't call 911, gas stations closed, and banks stopped. Look at Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. Without the web, people reverted to bartering and tribal defense in a matter of days. But you don't even have to look that far back. Just look at your search history. Why do you think the search volume for global internet outage spiked this January? It's not a coincidence. Thousand Eyes telemetry shows that in just 1 week, global network incidents surged from 199 to over 250. Lumen Cogent Charter, the backbone of our digital world, had a series of hiccups. A 40-minute glitch in the US rippled through Japan, Europe, and Brazil. The internet just staggered, and you ran to Google to see if the digital apocalypse was finally here. If a 40-minute outage makes you rethink your life, you're not ready for what happens at hour 72. Everything I just described? That's the loud, obvious collapse. Now let me show you the quiet one. Your software will work locally for a while, but a few months in, one by one, programs will refuse to launch. License verification failed. Unable to connect to authentication server. Hospitals, logistics, industrial plants, all paralyzed because the cloud isn't there to give them permission to exist. This is about the collapse of every system that makes modern life possible. Food distribution, medical supply chains, emergency services, financial transactions, water treatment, law enforcement, communication, everything. The internet is the central nervous system of civilization. Now imagine what happens when you sever the spinal cord of it. 1 month in, the Great Reset is in full swing. Make no mistake, the state is going to save its own structures, not you. The military will protect the communication hubs, the bunkers, and the fuel depots. But here's the twist. While the world is feverishly trying to rebuild, the job market has flipped overnight. If your resume says Senior Cloud Architect, you're officially unemployed. IT is a corpse. But the world now has millions of new, brutal tasks. We need to rewire cities and physically plug the holes where the cloud used to be. This can be the golden hour for Xers, the bridge generation. The last ones who can pass that analog fire to the digital babes before it's forgotten. The good news? Eventually, the government will officially announce that the network will be restored shortly. The bad news? They're making that announcement through a megaphone duct taped to a tank. Draw your own conclusions. But if you think that tank is just a dark joke, you haven't seen the data. Why is a global outage inevitable? The hiccups in our global network are becoming more frequent. The infrastructure is aging, the load is exploding, and the backbone is fraying. A global outage isn't an if, it's a when. So how do you keep from going blind? Here is your solution. First, stop thinking about the internet and start thinking about the mesh. Download apps like Briar or BridgeFi right now. They don't need servers. They turn every phone into a node. In a crowded city, you can send messages through a chain of phones without a single cell tower being active. Second, LoRa and ham radio. If you want real range, look into LoRa devices or get a basic technician class ham radio license. Knowing how to bounce a signal off the ionosphere is a hell of a lot more useful than knowing how to post a story. Third, download offline maps, like organic maps, for your entire region. Also, print out your most important contacts and medical records. If it's only in the cloud, you don't own it. You're just borrowing it until the power goes out. No matter how hard the authorities try to contain the chaos or feverishly rebuild a new world. By the end of the first month, the smartest ones finally realize a simple, terrifying truth. The city is no longer your ally. The higher the skyscrapers, the deeper the trap you're in. And that's when the great exodus begins. Thousands of digital refugees in designer loafers carrying empty gas cans will pour out of the cities toward the countryside. They'll head for the rural paradise where they imagine milk and honey are just waiting for them, but people in those rural areas won't exactly be rolling out the red carpet for hungry city dwellers who don't know how to plant a seed but expect to be fed. We've already broken down the brutal reality of urban refugees in a separate video. The link is in the description. You'll want to watch that before you even think about packing your bags. So no, this won't be a cute return to Elvis and vinyl. A total internet collapse won't just take us back in time, it will strip us bare. This won't be your grandparents' offline world. That world died together with your grandfather's youth. May it rest in peace. This will be the birth of a harsh, demanding, and very badly behaved new world. Civilization is a very thin layer of grease on a boiling pot of chaos. We removed all the human middlemen and replaced them with algorithms. But algorithms don't fix pipes, and they don't share antibiotics. When the world goes blind, the only people who can see are those who learned how to look without using Google. This is last smartass. Now, go stash some cash and check your flashlight. Because when the screens stay black, your Bitcoin won't even buy you a bullet. See you in reality.